All right, guys. I think we have everyone, so we'll get started. Thanks again for joining, everyone. This session will be a bit short, probably 30 minutes or so, right? And I hope everyone has gone through the previous previous sessions recording that I have put up, including those who had missed the session, and and of course those who had attended the session as well, because that will be a refresher course. But still, let me just take a minute and let me talk about just a recap of what we discussed in the last session, right? So in the last session, I just gave a very high level overview of what data warehousing is, and I'm sure most of you are into that field and are familiar with it. But we still discussed why we need data warehousing, what are dimensions, what are facts, what is dimensional modeling, and so on, right? Now, today we are going to discuss another important topic. So now, see, these things that I'm choosing to discuss session over session are not just simple topics. They are career changing topics. Okay, so pay as much attention as possible, right? This will really open up your mind, right? You'll gain that knowledge. So don't take it lightly, right? Pay as much focus as possible, right? So data visualization, what is this all about? I mean, you might have heard of the hype going on. Data visualization is the next thing, and data visualization goes along with big data. So what exactly is data visualization, right? So I have attended numerous trainings within my that my employer has organized, and the key takeaway, right? The lessons learned during data visualization is very very simple. Actually, it's just that the human being, as a species, right? The brain is much more comfortable taking information through eyes, rapidly, right? Through eyes, through visually, than the ears or any other forms of media, right? So data visualization really stresses on how effectively can you present data, right? Data that makes meaning to, it's that which is meaningful to the user, right? So that's what data visualization is saying. You don't just create reports, but you create reports in such a way that it's easily and quickly consumable by the users, right? So around this factor, around this terminology, right? Various tools have come up in the market, right? So you have your traditional enterprise reporting tools like business objects, MicroStrategy, and so on. They are more suited for operational kind of reporting, whereas these data visualization tools give a lot of emphasis on how well can you present the data, right? How well can users see what they're looking for in the data, right? So that's what is that's what the hype is about, the data visualization, right? Now, uh, eh, can everybody see my screen? Okay, cool. Right. So let me just go to the next slide. So I don't have many slides, so just 2 or 3 slides, right? So what you see here is, look at this report. This is a traditional, operational kind of a report. Now, put yourself in the shoes of, let's say, a manager, or a supervisor of a retail company, or some company, right, where there is a lot of data being generated. If you were to go to your IT team and ask them, look, I just want to look at the data, I want to see what's going on, this is the kind of reports that you would get, right? Somebody who does not understand data warehousing or data visualization, they're going to simply output such kind of report and give it to their managers or supervisors, the key decision makers, and they cannot make head or tail out of it, right? This is too much information to consume. Your visual system, your brain, everything is going to be overwhelmed, right? You really cannot make use of this data, right? And just look at some of the points that I mentioned on what is wrong here. Too much information at a glance, obviously, right? I mean, there's so many records. I doubt if you can memorize even a single record here. too many details. You have latitude, longitude, the numbers which mean nothing, right? Without if it's not visualized in a map, right? And then too many details. Too many details. No formatting. There's absolutely no kind of alerts, no conditional formatting, no borders. You don't know where the header starts, what's the row numbers are, and no action or insight can be derived. If I'm looking for something specific, let's say in the second table that you see on the right, the sixth column is area per square kilometer, right? Area of square kilometer per each of these areas. Now, let's say I want to look at what is the what is that one area which has the maximum area per square kilometer, right? It's very difficult to find out. It's not sorted. So there are many things that you can go on and on, which is so wrong with this data, right? Now, moving on to the next slide. This is how the data should be presented, right? This is the ideal way, because the example that we saw in the previous slide was something to do with the geography, right? You may or may not have noticed, but that's fine. This is just an example, right? So that had something to do with geography, so it makes a lot of sense to plot that data geographically. Suddenly your brain can focus on that one thing that's important to you, right? The metrics. And you have so many things to help you in that. First, you have the maps, right? Second, you have these different color codes, right? Okay. I think I messed up one part in the slide, which is these points. These points should have changed. I think it has carried over from the previous slide. My apologies for that. I don't know how I missed it, but still, please ignore these points. Let me just discuss about what you see here, right? So as I was saying, you have a nice legend. There is a map, and you have these different color codes. Each color code could mean something, and then you also have metrics that will pop up, right, as you hover over the maps, right? So this is how an ideal data visualization should be. Instead of showing all the data in its raw format, you format it, right? And you are already doing this in to a certain extent. You may not have done maps, but in your day-to-day jobs, so you would have got requests from business users to create charts and graphs. This is the exact reason, right? They want to look at what is important. If they are asking, okay, show me the top 10 applications or show me the top 10 products, why are they saying top 10? Because there could be 100 products, there could be thousands of applications. You don't show all of them, you show only 5. That's all that the brain can consume at that moment, right? So this data visualization tools helps the business user, right, uh, consume that information very quickly, right? Any questions so far? Okay, I'll take that as a no. Now, let's go over to Tableau, right? Let's just get started. So I assume that all of you on the call have installed Tableau, right? If you have installed, you should see an application like this, Tableau Public 9.0. Go ahead and click on that. And 5 minutes before the call, I sent out an email with an attachment. It was a CSV file. You can check your mail now and you can download it. I think it's a zip file, and it's pretty small, so you can quickly download it, extract it to a folder. Okay, so as I'm doing these steps, I want you guys to do the same on your end. I'll go as slow as possible, but if you're stuck somewhere, please do let me know. Let's not proceed until everybody has done all these steps in sequence. All right. So I launched Tableau, and here you'll see three options: connect, Excel, text file, and access. Right. I'm going to go and select text file here, and you would have downloaded it somewhere, the CSV file. So I'm locating the CSV file right now. See, now the file that I had emailed it to you, I have the same copy of the file. It's called US Car Crash 2011, right? And it's a comma separated file. It's when you unzip the file, it's around 3.5 MB. I select and I say open. And in case you have switched over from my screen, please look at my screen again. When you do it for the first time, it's going to show this errors occurred while reloading the data source, right? So it's still okay. Just go ahead and click on OK. Now what it's going to do is it's going to read the data from the CSV file, and you should get columns still here. Now let me stop here, and I just want everyone to confirm that if they were able to, yeah, I mean if you're able to arrive at this point. Okay, cool. Okay. Siraj, Srikanth, I'm waiting for. Okay, okay. So, fine. The next step would be just click on sheet one. Siraj, I know the data is loading on your computer, but once it's done, just click on sheet one here. You see this? It says go to worksheet, right? It's guiding you on the next steps. Just click on sheet one now. And I'll stop here until everyone can confirm that you have done the same. And see this the loading of the data, right? The time taken for loading the data, it is completely dependent on the free resources on your laptop, right? I would highly recommend that. I'm sure most of you are using laptops, right? And if possible, the least investment that you can do to maximize performance will be to upgrade the memory, right? These days laptops ship with 4 GB, but they can support up to, I think, 8 GB or more. So if you can, please do get it upgraded to 8 GB. Some of these things will be very, very fast. You don't have to necessarily change your laptop. Just have the memory upgraded. Right. Okay. Siraj, Srikanth, I'm still awaiting your guys' confirmation. Is the data loaded? I know, I think it's around 20,000 rows or something. But yeah, one other thing, if you have any other background applications running, please do close it. That could affect, how quickly or how slowly this data loads. Okay. Siraj, you done as well? Okay, sure. So, and Siraj, until the data loads, you can just look at my screen. So, see, this is your default layout, right? Default play area of Tableau, right? And this is very simple. If you have seen my first session, right, where we discussed about dimensions and facts, if you have a very good understanding of what it is by now, this is your play area. You can pretty much build any kind of data visualization, right? No, you hoping assuming you have a very good understanding of those, right? So what you'll see here is, look at the left side of the screen, right? There are two distinct panels here. You have dimensions and you have measures, right? Now this measures is nothing but your facts, and dimensions, as the name suggests, is dimensions. So from the columns that were retrieved from the CSV file, Tableau has decided that these are the dimensions and these are the facts, right? does anybody have any, can anybody guess on how Tableau decided what is a dimension and what is a fact? Anybody take a wild guess, that's fine.
Uh, Sandeep Siraj here, maybe
Yeah,
the data type.
that's absolutely right. Right. That's absolutely right. So, uh, so Shrikant, just to answer your question, so we what we did is we read the data from the CSV file, right? So CSV is just one flat table. It has a number of columns and number of rows. Tableau, when it is parsing the data, it does a data type check, right? If it is anything that's a non-integer like a varchar or a date, that column is automatically considered as a dimension. If there is any column where the data type is always a number, that is considered as a measure, right? Sometimes it could be wrong. You can always move attributes from dimension to measure and vice versa. You can move from measure to dimension. Can somebody give me an example? Let's say we are dealing with employee data. What is an attribute of an employee that could be mistaken for a measure? Very yes, absolutely. The one more. Yeah, employee number is definitely a good example that could be considered as a measure. One more, I'll give you a hint. Gray hairs. Perfect. Right. So age is one other thing which is actually an attribute and a dimension, but it will be considered as a measure because it's a number, right? It's a number. Now, Shrikant, let me just repeat it again. Uh, Tableau, right? We added a data source. That data came from a CSV file, right? Now in the CSV file, there are no data types, and within the CSV, there is no definition of what is a dimension and what is a fact, right? Tableau will initially, uh, hey, can everyone else hear me? Okay. Shrikant, I guess yeah, I think there may be some bandwidth issue on your end. So what I was saying is Tableau, based on the data type, it decides if it's a dimension or if it's a measure, but it's purely going by the data type. We have control to choose, okay, what is a dimension and what is a measure, and we can always change that, right? Now, enough about this. Let's just explore the rest of the layout, right? You have this show me window, right? We'll come to that, but as you can see, it is just a listing of the different kind of visualizations that are there, right? We'll revisit this later, but just look at this, and this is very helpful. I think this was one of the what do you say, one of the groundbreaking feature of Tableau, which wasn't there in any other BI tools, but it's quite simple as well, right? Now, these are the available attributes, and this you see here. You have columns, you have rows, right? And what you see here is a cross tab. I'm hoping everybody on the call is familiar with what a cross tab is, a cross tab report or a matrix report that you create in Excel, right? If not, let me know, but I would assume that everyone knows what a cross tab is. So anything you add here will become rows, anything you add here will become columns, and anything you add here, the drop field here, will become a metric that is aggregated for a combination of rows and for a combination of columns, right? So let's do that. And as I drag and drop one attribute at a time, you can do the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the make brand. So this is the brand of the car that was involved in the accident. I'm going to drag and drop it to this section here, which is the rows. Okay, so as I did that, you will notice that this attribute has been added here as well at the top. So by now, if you have guessed it, make brand is something I can either add here or I can drag and drop here. it has the same effect, right? So I'll just give 20 seconds. Why don't you guys just do this on your PC as well, just to make sure it's working and you got it correct. Okay, cool. Now here we haven't added any metric, and what Tableau does is, instead of leaving it blank, it just shows just the alphabets ABC. It really is not coming from the data itself. It's just something that Tableau is populating, right? Because it knows that there is no value and there should be some value, so it's just showing ABC. But we'll quickly change that. So what I'm going to do is, in the measures, if I scroll down, I see this measure which is count distinct cases, right? You should be able to see this as well. Count distinct cases. Now I'm going to drag this and place it here, and you see this rectangle border is highlighted that says that it is ready to be dropped to the metrics section. So I did that, and now you'll see that for every brand, how many accidents were there, right? Now I'm getting this listing. So you guys go ahead and try this. Okay. Now this is a very simple example of a simple grid report, right? A simple grid report. Now let's create a simple matrix report. There is uh, there is a attribute called body type, right? Now this is the body type of the car, such as if it's a sedan, if it's a hatchback, if it's a SUV, and so on. What I'm going to do is I will drag and drop in columns. I can either do this or I can drop it in this column over here, this box over here, right? Either ways it has the same effect. So let me just drop it in the columns and see what happens to the report. Now you see what happened. It Now you have the data split by the different body types. I know that it's a lot of information, but just to show you an example of how the cross tab works in Tableau, right? So now you have the rows, now you have the columns, and for the intersection of each you have the numbers, right? So this is an example for a cross tab report. Okay. So I don't want to ask you guys frequently, so I'm giving enough pauses, I guess. In case you're stuck, please do stop me, so that I can help you guys out, right? So we first saw a simple table report with a metric, one metric. Now we are looking at a cross tab report where the data is sliced and diced by two different dimensions. One was the make of the vehicle, make brand of the vehicle, and then it was the body type of the vehicle, right? Now let me remove body type. I'll just drag and drop it here. Now I'm back to the first report, which is make brand and the metrics. Uh, if I want to sort, I can if I want to sort, I'm sorry, if I want to sort, okay, I think this is where I'll have to sort. Oops, sorry. Okay. Uh, Apologies. Let's just skip that. So let's say we want to filter the records, right? Filter for only the brand names that start with either the alphabet A or alphabet C. What I can do is I'll drag and drop the make brand into filters, right? The moment you drag and drop, it's going to show you a list of all values, right? You have other other tabs as well, but let's just stick with general as of now, the default value. I'm going to click on none, so all the checks are done, undone, and then I'm just going to select A and C, AM, Audi, Cadillacs, Chevrolet, and Chrysler, right? And I click on OK. Now this is a simplified report, right? Now now I want you to look at the show me bar here, right? This show me menu. You see earlier when we started off, these were all grayed out. Some of them still are, but some of them are in color, right? Which means those that are gray are disabled and those that are in color are enabled. How this works is based on the number of attributes and metrics you have selected in the report here. This show me button will tell you what are the kind of charts that are applicable here. So for example, there could be certain type of charts that require more dimensions and more facts. In fact, if you hover over each of these, you will see that, for example, for this dual combination chart, it says it needs one date dimension, and it needs 0 or more dimensions and at least two measures minimum. Until you have that, you will not be able to create this chart. But look, let's look at a stacked bar. Stacked bar, it clearly says one or more dimensions, one or more measure. And what we have on the report perfectly satisfies that, right? So let's go ahead and click on this bar chart, right? So the moment I did that, see what happened. It became a stacked bar chart, and now we want to separate it out, right? We want individual bars for each brand. So what I'm going to do is I will drag the make brand again and drop it in the columns. Everybody with me so far? Any, are you getting stuck anywhere? Hello? Okay, okay, all great, great. Thanks, guys. Right. So this one feature is very, very helpful. The moment you select a couple of dimensions and facts, you immediately know that you know what are the kind of charts that you can create, right? So then you have color, size, label, detail, tooltip. We'll come to this later. Now go ahead and click on a new worksheet. If you look at the left side of the screen to the bottom, you will see a new worksheet. Just click on that. Right. So now that this is very similar to a, you know, a worksheet in an Excel book, right? You can open different tabs. So it's exactly like that. Once you have this open, um, you can see state here, right? State. Now the right next to state, you will see a globe icon, right? Now all these icons that are there represent what is the kind of data type. Now Tableau is a bit smart. What it does, the moment you type the if in the data, if it sees some data that resembles a latitude or a longitude, or if it resembles a state or a county name from the worldwide map, it already has an inbuilt map, right? So the moment it sees a match, what it does, it interprets that as a geography data, right? That is why you will see that the state column, it has already has an icon of geography. That's something you can control. You can, you know, you can always change, but it's good to know that Tableau immediately makes that effort to identify data. Now what I want you to do is just double click on the state and tell me what happens. I'm not going to do that. Somebody just click on the state column and let me know what you see. Perfect, right? So what happens is the moment I double click on this, it is going to chart a map, right? It's going to plot a map here of the US. The reason it's showing up only US is because in the data set that we have only US related information, no other, no other country, which is why you see US related. Now, these blue dots that you see are only pointing to the different states that are coming up in the data, right? Now, this doesn't make sense. I mean, we need to have some metrics around it. So what we do, again, going to the measures, if I keep scrolling down, uh, number of, keep scrolling down. Okay, you will see a metric called number of fatalities, NUM fatal, right? If you can see my screen, all right. So what I'm gonna do is just double click on that, right? And the moment you do that, see what happens to the map. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. See what happened to the map. You'll immediately see that the size of the dots has changed, right? The size of the dots has changed in relation to the to this metric, number of fatalities per county, right? Has everybody reached till this step? That's correct, Shrikant. So the size of these dots here represent the number of fatalities. So for example, let's look at California. Right now you see that California, it has 1033 fatalities, right? And if you look at Texas, it has 644. If you look at Florida, 1156. But if you look at a much smaller place, let's say Iowa, it's just 88. And you can see these dots in comparison. It's quite small, right? So the size of the circle is directly dependent on this metric, and how you can decide that is you look at this size. See, these five attributes, or these five buttons, you have color, you have size, label, detail, and tooltip. These are the different attributes of a marker. Now these are called markers, right? Now let's try something like this. I'm going to drag out the number of fatalities, right? So it's all back to normal now. It has no metric in it. And let me look for a different metric, such as count distinct cases, right? The first metric that we used. I'll double click on that, right? This is, somewhat similar to the number of fatalities. So you'll see a similar result here. One other thing you can do is, instead of the size, if you want to show it in colors, let's say, right? What we can do is, let's drag and drop this count distinct cases on color and remove it from the size. Guys, do you want me to repeat this, or did you get it? Cool. Okay, excellent. So see, now it's a different, different look again, right? For some people, looking at the dots might help. For some people, looking at this, this way, right? Looking at different shades of the color, right? Might represent something, and you can always change that coloring as well. Uh, for example, I just go to edit colors and I'll say, let's say red. Let me select this red and see what happens now, right? So for every each of these attributes, you can control how the behavior is, and one other thing we can try is, we can also try tree map. Let's see this. Look at this. All I did was just click on tree map, and how it helps me is, this feature tells me, okay, for the attributes and the metrics you have, what are the different maps that are applicable, right? And I just selected the tree map. This also is a very nice way of representing data. Like, you have the biggest squares here, right? And all the way it goes down to the smallest squares, right? So th th this is a nice thing about Tableau. Tableau with very little coding. I mean, you may I'm not sure if any of you have observed, since the time we started the session, we did not write a single line of code. It was all just with mouse clicks. That's it. We did not type anything. We did not, code anything. Nothing. Right? That's the beauty of Tableau. All right. The and listen to this very carefully. The way Tableau is positioned in the market as of today is it is for business users who are impatient, who do not want to wait till the IT team builds their data warehouse and gets the report. Right? Tableau is for such business users who already have a good understanding of the data, right? That data could be in something as simple as a CSV or an Excel file or even a database. Tableau can, connect to everything, including big data, right? They just want to take that data, consume that data, and they want to immediately start creating visualizations that help them or help their managers derive insights from it, right? Within seconds, within minutes, right? That is where Tableau's power lies in immediate visualization. It does not take coding, it does not take this one. It's very intuitive, right? And once you get used to it, the way it works, there's n number of possibilities on how you can do it. And by now I would strongly encourage you to just explore. Now let me just try this packed bubbles and see how this comes up, right? And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag the count distinct cases on the color as well. You see the complete color coding changed. It was all blue earlier, now it's in different shades of red, starting from lightest, which is not even red actually, but going to the brightest red. You guys getting here? I mean, any questions so far? You're able to get a hang of it? Excellent. But as you're using this, uh, remember that you did not write any query. The data was all in the CSV file, right? And you just use the data with zero coding. You just created these nice, wonderful graphs, right? And of course, that would mean that the data is in a good state as well, right? The data quality has to be good to support this kind of analysis, right? Um, Okay, let me stop here for today, right? What I sincerely ask you guys to do is just open up your browser, right? Just open up your browser. It could be anything. I'm just launching Google Chrome on my end and search for New York Open Data. Okay, just Google for New York Open Data. Alternatively, you can see my screen as well. You will see this second link, which is data.ny.gov. Right. Now within this, you have so many categories, right? Let me just pick, let's say, transparency. So what New York does is it collects all these public statistics, right? That are non-sensitive, and they create data sets out of it, and it's available for download, which is amazing, right? Now, okay, I'm not that good with politics, so I'm just going to change it to some other section. Let's take health for example. Health is something interesting, right? So this should have some information around, let's say, hospitals and disease outbreak and so on, right? There you go, hospital acquired infections. Now I'm gonna click on this, and it will load the data. Now see, this is amazing. I mean, you can play around with this data. And look at this beauty. I mean, it has the latitude and longitude as well, right? All you have to do is use this against Tableau and see the kind of visualizations that you create. All right. Now, let's wrap up for today, right? uh, what I want you guys to do is go to this website, pick any data set that you can, right? It could be download it to CSV or Excel or whatever, and then create some interesting charts in Tableau which sort of tell some story. See, it does not have to be perfect. It could be something simple. It could be a table. It could be some kind of chart. You can filter it. But I just want you guys to, um, you know, uh, just play around with Tableau, right? It's not going to break your system, right? You just play around with Tableau, see what you can do, and everyone should at least create 3 sheets of visualization. We have in today's session you saw we created two sheets, right? With one was a map and the other was a simple bar graph, right? You can do something like that. You just create one more additional sheet. See what is the most interesting visualization that you can create, something that makes sense out of this data. For example, right now you're looking at this is just rows and columns. You will not be able to see do anything, but how interesting would it be if you were to plot this on a map, right? It looks much more amazing. It looks much more consumable, right? That's exactly what I want you guys to do. Are you guys okay with it? You have one week's time. Can everyone do that? Hello. Okay, great then. So uh, okay, any questions? Any questions before we wrap up? Uh, I I mean I wanted to spend more time, but I think 45 minutes is more than enough. More than that, anything more than that, then it will be difficult to get the attention span of everyone. So I just want to stop here. But you guys, please don't stop. When you get a chance, download some data, create some visualization, play around with Tableau. Next week, we'll go into some advanced topics. I'll put a proper plan in place. I'll say, okay, these are the things that we are doing, right? And it will be more, what do you say? It will be much more a focus session on, okay, we'll explore what are the different features in Tableau. Today, I just wanted to give you guys a taste of what data visualization is, why we use it, how is it different from your BI reporting tools? And for Deepti and Sai especially, right? And do we have Zakir on the call? I guess not, right? Okay, Deepti and Sai, and maybe even Siraj as well. You guys have seen how we set up MicroStrategy, right? And how you create reports and the effort that it takes. You start from the data source, profile the data, ETL the data, put it in the data model, and finally create your reports, correct? And that could be weeks, if not months, before that you are able to create the dashboard. But look at Tableau. Within one session, we are able to connect to the data and we are able to create reports, right? Now you understand how this is different from that, correct? So I wouldn't say Tableau is as powerful as MicroStrategy. At the same time, MicroStrategy isn't as fast and as useful as Tableau, right? So they both serve different purpose, and that's a discussion for a different day. I think as we go through the sessions more and more, you'll have a good understanding of, okay, what are enterprise BI tools and what are data visualization tools. Where should I use this versus where should I use that? All right. So I really wanted to start off with Tableau. The reason is it's easy to pick up, it's interesting, and it gives you a immediate boost to your resume if you were to include saying, hey, I knew Tableau, I worked on ClickView and so on, right? In comparison with BI tools, which you have to invest a lot of time to learn, and it's equally powerful as well. Make sense, guys? Okay, I feel so lonely. I'm speaking to myself. Okay, fine, guys. So let's wrap this up. Please, take this as for your own development. Download some data source from this website. Get it onto Tableau. Create some visualization. I don't want. I mean, I just said 3 visualizations, but it does not have to be 3. You keep on exploring. If you can create many more visualizations, that will be great. Next session we can all connect back again. For those of you who may not be in town next week, I will still go ahead with the call with whoever is left, right? And people who are going out of town, it would be very, very nice if you can work on it before you leave, and if you can send an extract, right? So that the others in the team can see, okay, what's the other person has built, right? It gives them a it gives them just an idea on, okay, what else has the other person done with the data. Sounds good? Okay. All right, guys. You all have a good weekend, and catch you next week. Do look out for my mails, and I'll just upload this recording to the YouTube. Down, Sai, are you asking about this data set that's on the screen right now? Are you asking for the report in Tableau then? Okay. For the Tableau, good question, Sai. Actually, see, Tableau actually. Hmm. The the disadvantage of this Tableau public is any visualizations that you create, you cannot save it on your desktop. Yes, I must have told that and realized it earlier. My mistake. So what you can do is you keep it to your machine. Once you have created a visualization, just take a screenshot of that. That should be more than enough. Take a screenshot, put it in a Word document, and send it across. If, for example, Sai, if you are not there this weekend, right? Even if you send the visualization, I mean, there will be nobody to talk about it on what it is, correct? So you might as well put it in a Word document, send it across, and we will just take a look and figure out what exactly it is, right? So that's fine. The thing with Tableau Public is you have to you can save only on the public website, meaning it's available to everyone. I mean, this is not confidential data. You can do that, but I would suggest against it, because the moment you register your email, you'll start getting spam emails from Tableau. Spam meaning advertisement email. So let's just skip that step for now. Okay. All right, guys. Let's wrap it up. We will meet next week, and I'll look forward to receiving some screenshots, nice data visualization screenshots from all of you. Okay. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good weekend. Bye bye.